Suzanne. Today I've come up with a really delicious doll cake recipe. It's also really pretty, it's simple to make, and I'm not using a lot of frosting, or it's not a really hard frosting to do. It's really simple. All you need is just one piping tip and some frosting to make this. It's simple. So we have a cake base that is a chocolate cake. And this chocolate cake, you can either steam it or also you can keep it in the oven. Either way, it's going to be really tasty. It's simple to make. Even if you keep it in the steamer, it's going to be really perfectly steamed up, and also the cake is going to be very soft. The oven the same way, it's going to come up really well and the cake is going to be perfect. So you don't need any specialized pan for this, a dome pan. It's just a normal dome bowl which you have at home. I'm using just a steel dome bowl which I have at home. It's really simple. All you have to do is pour the batter into it, bake it, and it's going to come out really perfectly if you keep some parchment paper. And I also have a second pan that is just a normal round pan. So that pan is a 10-inch one, and I'm going to cut the cake according to the size of the pan. Then the next step is the frosting. Frosting is just simple normal whipped cream frosting. I have a recipe to the whipped cream frosting. I'll leave it in the link in the description down below, so you can go check it out. And all I'm doing is dyeing it in pink color, and then I'm going to keep an ombre effect. That is, the top part is going to be a lighter pink, and then as it comes down, it's going to get darker. So that is what I'm going to do in this cake. It's really simple to make and it's super delicious. Without any further ado, let's get on to making it. First step is to assemble all the dry ingredients. For that, here I have all the dry ingredients. This is the cocoa powder. I have 1.5 cups of cocoa powder. This is all-purpose flour. I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour. 1.5 tablespoon of baking powder. 2 tablespoons of coffee. 1 tablespoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt. I also have the sugar here. 2 cups and 3/4 cups of sugar. I'm making a really big doll cake. That's the reason I have so much ingredients. If you have a smaller pan, you can halve the ingredients and use it. So what I'm going to do, first I'm going to put all of the sugar into this bowl. If you're taking big granules of sugar, then make sure you sift it really well and then add it into the cake. Next, I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of coffee. I'm going to sift the dry ingredients, that is the baking powder, the baking soda, and the salt. So I'm going to sift this. Next, I'm going to add in the cocoa powder. Next, I'm going to add in the all-purpose flour, and I'm going to sift that. My bowl is really small, so that is the reason why I'm putting it into the bigger bowl, because we're going to mix all the wet ingredients also into this bowl. Now I'm just going to whisk all these dry ingredients together and mix that well. So I've mixed it really well. I'm going to set this aside and move on to the wet ingredients. So here I have 6 eggs, and I'm going to crack that into the bowl. I'm going to pour in 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, and I'm going to whisk that. I'm also going to pour in the milk. I've taken 1 cup plus 1/4 cup of milk. I'm just going to beat that again for at least 2 minutes. So I've beaten that. Now I'm going to pour in the oil gradually and beat it again until the mixture is light and smooth and really nice. I'm going to pour in 1 cup plus 3/4 cup of oil. So now I've beaten this, I'm going to add in the yogurt. I'm going to put in 1/3 cup of yogurt, that is 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons. So we have to beat it and incorporate the yogurt in. So right here I've whipped up all the wet ingredients, and now I'm going to pour it into the dry ingredients all together and then just whisk it well and combine it. Now just mix that really well. So right now I've mixed this really well, and into it I'm going to pour in hot water. So I have really hot boiling water right here, and this is 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of hot water. I'm going to pour that in and whisk it. So now the batter is ready. So these are the two pans that I'm going to be using. One is a 10-inch round pan, just a normal one. And then this is a normal steel bowl. You can just use any steel bowl that's lying around at house. And here I've lined it and buttered it with parchment paper, just like normal. And I'm going to show you how to line the bowl. So I've poured in a little bit of oil into this pan, and I'm just gonna take it towards the sides and everywhere. Now I have a parchment paper like normal, just a round normal parchment paper. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the scissors and cut it halfway through, not fully, just a little bit, just for it to sit properly, because it's a round shape, so we need it to be sitting properly. So you just spread this thing onto the oil and then flip it upside down. Now I'm gonna pour the batter into both of these pans. So now let's keep this for baking. One of it I'm gonna bake it, and the bowl one I'm gonna steam it. So it's really simple to steam. All you have to do is pour some water, then keep a just a bowl, and keep the batter on top of the bowl. So there should be water at the bottom, then cover it with foil paper and close the lid and bake it. After around 25 minutes my cake is ready. You can just insert a skewer and see if yours is. The cake is perfectly baked without any problem. You can either bake it in the oven or even in the steamer. So once the cake is completely cool, you can take it out of the pan. Make sure you take it out of the pan only when it is cooled, or else the cake is gonna break apart really easily, because the cake is gonna be very soft at the beginning. And then the cake is gonna firm down as it cools. So I'm gonna transfer that to a plate. Do the same thing with the other cake. Run a knife along the sides and take the bottom tin and the side tin away and transfer that to a plate. Next we need to carve the cake. For that here I have the bottom cake and I'm going to place the dome cake on top of the bottom one. Now we have to just carve it according to the size of the dome cake. So just run a knife along the sides and you'll get it in the size of the dome cake. Let's take that excess part and keep it aside. Now use a knife again and carve it like in the shape of the dome and perfectly straighten the sides. Once that's done, you can go ahead and cut it into layers. For that here I'm just using a thread and piercing it so that the cake comes into 2 different layers, and that's the easiest method. You don't have to run a knife along it and then again and again and again. Just do it like this way, in the thread way. It's gonna be far more easier. So here I have the second layer of cake, that's the dome cake. I'm gonna cut that also. If you want, you can make it into like 3 to 4 layers. That's what I've done. Or you can either make it into even more bigger layers. You can make like 5 to 6 layers. But I've just kept it this way. So for what you have to do is take the cake board, keep a nice dollop of frosting, keep the first layer of cake, sugar syrup it, and then keep the frosting on top. Always make sure you sugar syrup the cake so that the cake is really soft. Then keep the second layer of cake, sugar syrup it, and then spread a nice dollop of frosting. Make sure the frosting layer is really thick so that you cut it, you can see the frosting layer. Then keep the final layer of cake and crumb coat it. For that, I'm using a very light pink frosting. So I'm using a light pink frosting so that when we pipe the dollops on the cake, if there is any gap, the black color will not be seen, the pink color will be seen. But you don't need to make it a really thick coat, just a light coat will work. And here the crumb coat is done. Now keep the doll in between on top and then you can start piping it. So I'm using a Wilton 2D tip and then just using the whipping cream that is colored in a dark pink. And I'm just doing this very simple frosting. It's very simple to pipe this, and then I'm going to use another lighter color of pink and doing the same thing. It's a very easy piping, so you can try it out. You can do any sort of piping you want or any sort of design that you like. It doesn't necessarily have to be this. Then I'm going to use an even more lighter shade of pink and do the same thing until the top. Now that's done. Next we have to pipe the top part of the doll. For that I'm using an open star tip, a smaller one. So you can use any sort of tip for this you want. Any tip will work. Just do any design you like and then pipe the dress. So here the cake is done. It's a really easy piping that I've done. You can try it out. And also the cake in it is really delicious. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you liked it. And if you did, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment. Also ring that notification bell so that you get notifications when I post a new video. Thanks for watching. Love cooking. Bye bye.